morning, ladies. I want to show you some tips and tricks for formatting your essay in MLA style and also how to incorporate some of the quotes. So I have opened up a new Word document and I'm going to change the spacing. So what I want you to do is I want you to click on this button up here. See where it says paragraph? There's this little icon that's got line and paragraph spacing. You see if I hold my mouse over it, that little box pops up. And it shows sort of arrows and lines. That's the line spacing. I want to actually click line spacing options. I want to see where it says after 10 point. Push the down arrow until you get that down to 0 and change this drop down box over here to double. Okay? Then click OK. Great. Now I'm going to start with the traditional MLA heading by writing my name. So I'm going to pretend my name is James Smith. Enter. I'm going to write the teacher's name or the professor, Mrs. Griswold. Enter. Then the class, English 1, enter. And then the date. This is the MLA style for the date. You type the day, the number, space the month, March, space the year. Notice there's no comma anywhere in this date, 6 March 2013. Okay? Then I'm going to hit enter. So now I'm going to push tab once to indent my, actually, sorry. I'm going to go down and I'm going to center. I'm going to click this button up here to center it. I'm going to type a title. Here is a witty title that is not the title of the book. Okay, so notice here that I have a centered title, and the title is not the title of my essay is not the title of the book. Oops. Alrighty. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm capitalizing all these letters, these words, because it's a title. Technically, would not be capitalized. All right, there we go. Here is a witty title that is not the title of the book. Of also is not capitalized, but the would be capitalized, I think. Wait, now I'm getting the weird rules. Okay, so here we have the format. Now I'm going to push enter again, and I'm going to change the text alignment to the left again. And I'm going to push tab to start a new paragraph. So I'm just going to write a dummy paragraph, meaning a paragraph that is clearly not that great. So I am just going to write a sample paragraph. This paragraph is an example of a body paragraph. In the first few sentences, you are stating the topic of the paragraph, and also you are introducing your first quote. Remember to give the basic context of the quote. And then here comes my quote, for example. He says, comma. I'm going to do a short quote. So a short quote means this is a short quote because it only takes up 1 to 3 lines of my paper. Okay, now I have my end of my quote. I'm having a moment here where I need to make sure I am doing my quote right. All right, I'm going to put my end quotation marks, and then I'm going to put my parenthetical, 1, 2, 3. Parentheses, period. So take a look here at what I've done. I have written some sentences, I've given the introduction, and I began my quote with he says, followed by a comma. Please notice this is a comma for a short quote. Quotation marks, okay? Now, I'm going to continue. First, here I would write a paraphrase of the quote and put it into my own words. Now in the next 2 to 3 sentences, I am going to analyze the quote and connect it to my thesis. Okay, so there we go. Now let's pretend my next quote is a block quote. It's going to take up more lines. Now let's pretend I'm quoting let's pretend first I'm just quoting fiction, okay? So here I go. I am going to say, my next quote will be a long quote, meaning a block quote. I will give the background info. He says, now notice I have a block quote now, so I'm going to put shift colon. Notice long quotes get a colon, short quotes get a comma. Okay, now I hit enter. Now I'm just going to write the quote. Now in a block quote, you do not use quotation marks. So this is my long quote. It takes up a lot of the paper, so I must write it in a block quote. Remember, if a quote takes up more than 3 lines of your page, then you write it as a block quote. I say your page because it doesn't matter how many lines of the original it takes up, unless it is a poem, but I am getting to that. This is just a long quote from a short story or novel. Notice that it takes up 4 lines. Yay, I'm done, thank God. Now, I'm going to go back and I'm going to highlight all, oops, it actually takes up 5 lines. I'm going to highlight all of my quote. And I'm going to push the tab button twice. 1, 2. Ah, yes, beautiful. Now, remember, you're going to do your parenthetical after the last period. It's in a short quote, the period comes after the parenthetical. Do you notice here? There's no period here. There is a period here. In a block quote, which is what I have here, the period comes first and the parenthetical comes after. Now I'm going to hit enter. And notice, oh my gosh, I'm still 2 indents in. You have a couple options. You can hit backspace, or you can hit shift tab, oops, sorry, shift tab, oops, it should have gone. Oh well. You hit backspace and it should go. Let me see here one more time. Let me try that. So if you hit enter, you can press shift tab. Whoop, doesn't work. Wow, my shift button's not cooperating. It should work, shift tab. Oh well. You just hit backspace. It's going to take you back there. Now, should I indent right here? No, because I'm not starting a new paragraph. It's a continuation of this same body paragraph that I'm in. I am now putting the quote into my own words in just 1 sentence. Now I am going to relate the quote to my thesis, which is what we call analysis. Remember that your analysis should be at least two sentences and should directly state why that quote proves the argument in your thesis. You should echo some of the language of your thesis and point out specific words, phrases, or poetic devices that prove your point. So do you notice how long my paragraph is getting? That is totally okay. You are doing great. Okay, great. So don't forget to end your paragraph with a concluding sentence that wraps up the paragraph, reiterates the topic of the paragraph, and you can optionally transition to your next paragraph. Okay, so what I've shown you in this screencast is how to change the spacing on your essay so that it's correct. How to write a short quote from fiction, meaning a short story or a novel, and how to write a long quote, which is what we call a block quote in your essay from a novel or a short story. Thank you very much.